taking a peek at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Kia EV9. Now, there is technically just a single cluster screen that's available, and that's this one, but this is the fully loaded version with the blind spot view monitor. There's a head-up display and a number of other features. But if you want to walk through on the screen without all the extra stuff, check down in the description of this video for that walkthrough instead. Now, you saw there when I first started the vehicle up, the power button is just on the shifter instead. So you've got the power button there just by my right thumb, and then you've got all of your different gears. So with the brake on, you can go up to drive, drop into neutral, all the way to reverse, and then there's a button on the tip of the stick there in order to put yourself into park. And when you do that, you can see parking brake is automatically engaged. And the parking brake release is just by your left knee. So you could brake, push down in order to turn that parking brake off. The steering wheel inside of the majority of the EV9 lineup is going to be heated. And the button is just going to be along the left side. So you can toggle that on with two unique levels as well. It's really, really nice, and it's heated all the way around. Might be a manual or power telescoping steering wheel. Power telescoping steering wheel, you can adjust it by your left knee. So forwards, backwards, up and down to create that perfect position for you. The stick on the left-hand side is going to be for your lights. And you can see there, when you've got that turn the blinker going, so left versus right, it utilizes the side-mounted cameras to show you what's going on around the vehicle. Very, very useful. And then there's the tip of the stick there. You can adjust different light modes. Honestly, you're going to be in the auto mode the majority of the time. And the benefit there is that the vehicle can determine when things are coming on. So when lights are automatically coming on, you push away to get to the auto headlamp mode or the auto high beam mode. So what that means is that if the vehicle recognizes the high beams are needed, it's automatically going to turn them on. If somebody's oncoming, it's going to dim them before bringing them right back on again. Really, really useful setting. If you want to permanently lock your high beams out, you're going to go to the top light mode instead, push away in order to lock them out, pull towards you in order to turn them off. And in the auto mode, you can flash away if you wanted to as well. You just can't lock your high beams out this way instead. Stick along the right-hand side is going to be for your front wipers. Button on the tip of that stick in order to adjust your rear wipers. You're going to pull towards you to get the front wiper fluid going and push away to get that rear wiper fluid going. The car also has paddle shifters. But in the electric world, the paddle shifters work a little different. And you can see along the bottom right-hand side of the screen there, we're going between different levels. So I've just entered I-pedal or a one-pedal drive. So if you take your foot off of the accelerator, the car slows down very rapidly. Versus in the level 1 or level 0, you take your foot off the accelerator and the car slows down very gradually instead. So it's a slower slowdown. It's the best way that I can put it, but it's a really useful setting. If you wanted to go max, so either I-pedal or level 3, that's going to give you the best possible charge there. So as you take your foot off the accelerator, you're going to notice that that charge gauge drops down and it essentially goes blue, and that's essentially meaning that the vehicle is capturing the most amount of charge. But button-wise, there are so many things. There's a voice command prompt, so you'll be able to do things like change songs, radio stations. You can navigate using your voice. Hold on. There are so many things.
Some available commands.
You can adjust your windows, open and close your windows, open and close your lift gate. You can turn on the heated steering wheel, turn it off, turn on the heated ventilated first row seats. There are so many amazing things you can do with the voice command prompt. So what I'd recommend is when you first get your Kia, learn the voice command prompts, because yeah, you can adjust your climate and things like that through the screen, but knowing how to do everything using your voice and being able to do it using your voice is so useful. You can answer or hang up on a phone call this way. This is going to be your volume rocker. Then you can also push in the middle in order to be able to mute the audio out as well. So if we go to media for a second, there's a series of different options. Let's go to Sirius XM. All right, so you can hear there. So you can adjust your volume this way. You can push in the middle in order to mute as well. And then this one, you can jump between stations there. If you were on your favorites, you'd be able to jump between different presets there, or your favorite stations. And then you can also push up and down this way. But when you're off the screen, you push down and you're jumping between all of your available presets. So you can see there it's saying that, well, add more stations to use it because there's only one favorite station. But you can push up and down this way as well to be able to seek between stations. But if you want to walk through and setting up presets and using the infotainment system, check down in the description below for that walkthrough video. And that includes using these buttons. So the mode button there is going to let you change between all of your sources that you've selected. And then you can also customize this button as well to not do whatever you'd like, but it's fairly close at the same time. So there are a series of different buttons that are available. And what do you want it to do? So you can adjust that if you want to. Buttons along the left-hand side. So on the outside are going to be the smart cruise control buttons. So you just have the option for smart cruise control. It's not going to be adaptive cruise, or not going to be regular cruise control, I should say. So you're going to toggle it on this way. It's saying not met because I'm in park, but as you start to drive, you can toggle it on. And then once you get to speed, or whatever speed, you can push up to set it, and then up or down to either increase or decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time. You can also push and hold in order to increase it at a faster rate, so it goes up by 10 at a time instead. You can push there to temporarily pause. You can hit the brake to pause, and then you can push in again to resume your previously set speed. And then there's a distance indicator, so it's how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. But if you want a live demonstration of how this actually works in person, check down in the description below for that walkthrough instead. Then there's this one, which is the lane following system. Lane center assist is so good. So what it's going to do is keep you perfectly balanced in your lane as you drive. So it's going to recognize the lane markings there, and when it does, you're going to get a notification. So it'll let you know that it's recognized the lanes, but it's going to keep you, like I said, perfectly balanced in your lane as you go. It is a very, very smart system. Not full self-driving, but when you utilize this system along with the lane centering system, it is really, really good at the same time. And then you've got these buttons, and that's going to be to adjust what's going on in the cluster screen. So let's go through, and I'll show you a few other highlights here. So you've obviously got your current speed along the left side. Along the right is going to be the current range. You've obviously got your vehicle there, which you can adjust by modifying the pages there instead. But I'll show you that one in a second. You've got the current drive mode, because one thing I didn't point out, here are little buttons here. So you can change between different drive modes, so whether that's eco, normal, sport, or your own unique drive mode instead, you've got that flexibility. So you can set that up however you'd like to. You can then also hit the terrain mode, and that's going to let you go between either the snow, mud, or sand mode, and those are going to play with traction control, stability control, and things like that. But as you adjust between different modes, it lets you know what the total range is that you're going to get. So eco mode obviously is where you're going to go in order to get the best possible range. And then as you drop down to different modes, that's going to, well, sport mode, I mean, is going to be the worst. So the worst range that you can get, but the best possible performance. So if you want the best performance, sport mode is definitely the way to go. Then you've got a series of other things. So you've got ready, so the vehicle is ready to drive, current outside temperature, what gear you're currently in. So whether that's park, reverse, or drive, I should say, neutral, reverse, etc. It's going to show you down there. And then you've got your current range along the very bottom. So you've got your kilometers or miles until empty. And then you've also got it in a percentage as well, along with what regen braking level are you currently in. Along the bottom right side, that's your total odometer. And then from there, you've got this pages button, and then you can use the scroll wheel to go up and down between other subpages. So your current trip is from the last time that the vehicle was turned off and then back on again. Your after charge, so when you've charged up, whether that's to 100%, 80, whatever the case may be, what range have you gotten there? And then you've got your since last reset. So think of this as like a total trip one counter. You can reset it by pushing and holding the OK button there. And that's the same thing with a few of these other options. So when they say OK to reset, you're just going to push this scroll wheel button in order to reset it. And then you've got your range guide. So what range you look currently getting. So as of right now, you can get a total of 576 kilometers based off of how much battery juice is currently in here. And then tire pressure, as you go to drive, you're going to notice that the tire pressure comes on. Actually, I wonder, will it show up here? No, you actually have to start driving. But yeah, it'll show you the total tire pressure that you're looking at. And then there's one more, and that's going to be for which wheel is getting which amount of power. So you'll notice that when you're on the highway, it might just be the rear wheels that are getting a bit of power versus when you're speeding up, it might be the front or all four wheels instead. But it looks really, really cool at the same time as you drive. And then you've also got route. So as of right now, you can see your current directions that you're facing, but let's get an active route going. So let's search for something nice and Canadian of me. Let's go to a Tim Hortons. And just going to select a random one here. And yeah, let's set it as a destination. And there we go. Start guidance. And you'll notice there, like that. So it's not full mapping cluster, but it still is kind of cool to know. You can see your turn-by-turn directions there. It gives you the total distance in order to get to your end destination. Pretty neat. Very, very useful at the same time. And then you can hit here in order to go to your next settings page. So you have to push and hold OK, and that's going to launch you into a boatload of different settings inside of the infotainment system. And like when I mean a boatload, like there are so many different options. Driving convenience settings, drive mode, sound design, climate, seats, doors. So many different things that you can adjust. But if you want a full walkthrough of the infotainment system, like I said, you'll find it down in the description. There's a few things that I will point out though. So you've got options for the display here. Nothing too exciting. Screen layout. So as of right now, you can see that we're in the drive mode that is eco. But as you jump between different modes, it's going to change up the dynamic look of the screen. But let's say if you love the look of the sport mode, but you wanted to have it locked out to a different style instead, you'd have that flexibility. So you can adjust this out however you'd like to. And then there's also the option of adjusting your head-up display and cluster. So cluster, you can adjust the brightness there. There's also the option just down by your left knee. You can adjust the cluster brightness this way instead. And then you can adjust your theme selection, which we've already seen, content selection, and this is going to be what's showing up. So there's the blind spot view monitor. So that's the one where if you hit your turn stock to go left or right, it's going to show that there. And then there's options for the head-up display. So you do want to enable it, disable it. You can adjust the height, the brightness, rotation, things like that. And then which content is showing up in the head-up display. So your turn-by-turn directions if you had an active route going, and so many other things. But that's all, like I said, going to be inside of, can you see it? Can you see it? Oh, yeah, that little guy. That little head-up display. So you can see your current vehicle speed, your turn-by-turn directions if you had your route going, if the adaptive cruise control system was enabled, all of that would show up in your head-up display, and it looks so good. I just love the fact that there is a head-up display inside of this car. Now, the one thing though, and this is the same way with the majority of cars, is that with head-up displays, it is, yeah, you can see that, very, very tricky to actually see the head-up display when you're using polarized sunglasses. Not impossible, but even maximum brightness, it is very tricky to see. But look at this. Oh, the wheel looks so good inside of this car. But like I said, full walkthrough there if you'd like, and then you can also find a walkthrough on the adaptive cruise or smart cruise control system down in the description. But that's everything that you need to know about the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Kia EV9.